There's a moment in chapter 10 where voices from Agott's past start to get to her. Not one voice, but many voices. Different people, different times. She was called average. A disappointment. Come on, put some heart into it. Her mother has so much talent. How strange. Gifted children are capable of so much more by that age. And by one particular voice, particularly that got to her. You'll be no apprentice of mine. What chapters 10 and 11 begins to suggest is that magic, in which Hat Atelier isn't dangerous because of what it can do, it may be dangerous because of who is allowed to use it. And these chapters don't just introduce that idea, they start putting pressure on it. At the end of chapter 9, we know there was an emergency that came to Keyfree's atelier. And with Arugio and Keyfree both being there, they were set to go out to handle it. And of course, Keyfree gave explicit directions to the girl, and Agott wanted to go. She wanted to participate because this was the perfect opportunity to prove herself. While Keyfree told her no, as we get into chapter 10, Arugio decides to bring Agott to the rescue. She believes that this is going to be her moment to prove herself. And as they head off to the site where the incident is, when they get there, Arugio assigns her a simple task, one that takes care of the villagers who were caught up in the collapsed bridge. He tells her, take these link rings, and when you fasten them together, you can use them to evaporate moisture. Use these rings to dry the villagers' clothes. Once that's done, stay here, wait. And she says, is this it? This is all you want me to do? Arugio gives her a very quick lesson. If you want to show off your skills, there will be times and places where you can do that. But if you want to help out here and now, I suggest you reconsider the purpose that magic serves. Arugio and Keyfree are able to rescue the villagers, but they need to both each assess the conditions up the riverbed and downstream. So Keyfree takes Tedia with him, and Arugio takes Richie with him, and Agott and Coco both are left there with the villagers. And let me tell you, Agott wants to prove herself. She isn't looking for something simple. And boy, is she about to get the opportunity to be put into a situation to have to do that. Now, one of the younger villagers decide that he wants to go down the side of the cliff to salvage some of the cargo. And when he tries to go down there, the riverbank collapses. And he doesn't just get himself into the collapse piece, but Coco has as well fell partly in the water, holding on to rocks. And the young villager's name is Custis. He is pinned under a big boulder. And this is when the pressure now hits Agott. Not just from this moment, but the villagers now are looking to her as a witch who can now help. That she can do magic to save Custard. But Agott knows in this moment that because of the rules of magic, there's certain things has to be executed certain ways. And Coco is now calling out to Agott for help. And yes, the pressure now hits her. But from everything from her past, the ghost of criticality of how she is just an average magic practicer is now coming back to her. And now everything starts to make sense about what we have seen from Agott in the earlier chapters. The walls, the perfectionism, the distance she keeps from everyone around her. She was compared to her mother, called average, shaped by expectations that didn't leave her any room to just grow. So she turned it all into fuel. She studies, she refines her work. She's doing her best to earn her place in Keyfree's atelier. So we see all this pressure now come onto her when the villagers are saying to her, you're a witch. You can save him. You can rescue him with your magic. And now she is questioning her ability to do that. She can't stop long enough to recognize that she's already made it to the level that she needs to be at, given her age. This is a girl under impossible pressure, doing only the things that she knows how to do. So what is happening with Coco at the moment? How is Coco handling this situation, since she is one of the ones who fell down the riverbed as well while Agott is fighting her past. Coco is below, working through every option she has. She's thinking about using the levitation seal that she was practicing earlier that morning, but she realizes it's not strong enough for a boulder. Her components are now soaked. Once again, she's in the situation that she was in on the data range, where her components are soaked. Her choir is compromised because it is wet as well. But Coco doesn't limit herself to her spells, to her own spells. She pulls to what she's learned during her time in the Labyrinth arc. She couldn't draw during that crisis, so she was able to watch what the other apprentices were doing. She stored that up, all the observation from that moment, turned it into crystallized knowledge, and now she is pulling it forward to get herself and Custis out of the situation. She decides to use the wall breaker seal, scaled small enough to turn a boulder into sand without harming the person underneath it, because again, Custis, one of the villagers, he is stuck. A young guy stuck under the boulder. So she needs to be able to rescue him without hurting him. And what she's able to do is Agott finally gets it together and throws her the link rings, and she's able to dry off her choir and anything else like her cloak that she needs. What she does is one of the same things that she did when she was on the Dada range. She uses her cloak and she improvises, and she's able to levitate. She's able to levitate to rescue Custer. Again, the wall breaker seal is what she was able to use to crack the boulder, but in small enough pieces into sand so that it didn't hurt him. So by the time Agott looks up, Coco has now rescued Custis. Yes, his name is Custis. At the same time, Agott was able to divert the attention of the villagers because, of course, they're not supposed to witness witches scribing the seals. So Agott was able to finally get it together as well. Use a spell that sent a big bird sparkling up in the sky. It served two purposes: to divert the attention of the bystanders or the villagers, but hopefully also alert Keyfree and both Erugio, who had gone up and downstream. And this is not really a lucky break, but this is an accumulation of different things that the girls have been through. And it shows, especially with Coco, it shows how she's beginning to apply what she's learned. Next, let's look at something I like to call convergence. Here's where these chapters understand neither girl could have done it alone. Agott cast a bird of light to hold the crowd's attention while Coco works unseen below. Two witches, one problem, opposite ends of the solution. When Coco comes back up again, she tries to call Agott her friend. Agott kind of pulls away from Coco because she basically says, I never decided that I was your friend. Agott is still trying to reconcile with Coco's ability and her ability not to be afraid to try things, even if it doesn't work out in terms of magic. What chapter 11 now gives us, finally, we have the appearance of the Knights Moralis. I have to say, as a reader of Western novels and Eastern manga, I love it when the authority shows up because they always make me go, what the fuck? The sky above Coco and the villagers in Agott moves. A silver white capture pennant falls from above the sky, binding both Coco and Agott where they stand and floating them in the air. Yes, the Knights Moralis. The Order of Moral Spell Casting has arrived. We heard about them in chapter 9, and we've been hearing about them a little bit before chapter 9. We were told what they do. Now we're watching them do it. They look between Agott and Coco and ask which one aligns with the Vrem caps. Both girls are confused. These are two apprentices who just rescued someone from a flooding river. And the first question out of the Knights of Moralis, one of the Knights, is whether either of them have a connection to the Mask faction practicing forbidden magic. Agott pushes back very hard. She insists that the magic that they used was not forbidden, and every spell they cast was to help people. But below the riverbank, the entire riverbed has turned to sand, far beyond what was intended, and both Coco and Agott now is looking at this, confused, paralyzed. They can't believe that this happened, and Coco is adamant that that's not the spell that she cast. The results basically speak for itself, and the Knights of Moralis are not an institution that debates outcomes. They act on what is visible. A knight raises his hand toward Coco's face when she says, this is not the spell that I casted. And he says, you are hereby relieved of your memory, not just the knowledge of magic. But as Keyfree warned, they take the passion for it too. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for hanging in there. I hope you are enjoying these videos. Do not forget to check out Hat Atelier anime starting on April 6th. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and share this video by all means. Also, I'm debating whether or not I will continue to cover the chapters when the anime starts to air, or just pick up after the anime is done for the spring season and cover the chapters that come next where the anime ends. Hat Atelier is on Manga, so I'm always reading it and buying the volumes. I will meet you at the next Pointed Hat discussion or at the next manga video that I decide to cover. I have plenty of manga that I'm reading, so I may I may do a different video on a different manga while Hat Atelier is airing. But as always, keep talking manga with me. Thanks for stopping by and watching.